Hey there, my name is Lisa Nickel, and welcome to the Sacred and Rooted podcast. On this podcast, we explore a wide range of topics from how to deepen your connection with the divine to how to make your day-to-day life feel more meaningful and joyful. Through mindset, spirituality, cyclical living, and my personal favorite, meditation. My wish for you is that you live a life you are excited about on a soul level, where you feel grounded, divinely powerful, and most of all, free to be authentically you. I hope you enjoy the show. The music for my podcast is created by my beautiful sister, Sarah Russell. Her contact info is in the show notes. Hello, this is Lisa. Welcome to the podcast. I think I've recorded this like 17 times at this point. Not the whole thing, but just, the first 10 minutes or so. Anyways, this is a new moon in Gemini, so I guess lots of chit chat and talking is of the essence. I did want to highlight that it is the new moon in Gemini, and all the astrologers that I follow seem to think that this is an actual, really exceptional new moon because every other planet is supporting it instead of maybe being in direct conflict with it. And a new moon inherently is a time where we can really focus on our hopes and dreams for the future and making, what are they? Kind of like planting the seed. And so today's episode, the question that we're chewing on is, who are you in spite of your mistakes? Who are you in spite of your mistakes? And this episode is just a reinforcement of the fact that you are, at your essence, you are a great person. You deserve love. You can do and make anything happen that you set your mind to. And just because you've made mistakes in the past, however big or small, they're all lessons to learn and kind of evolve from, not meant to hinder you and weigh you down and really, cause you to carry 50,000 pounds of baggage through the rest of your life. That is not the point of mistakes. And mistakes may feel shitty. They will probably feel shitty. And so a lot of times, it's like, okay, yeah, I should have known better. I should have thought, before I said something or not said something. Or you completely didn't intend for something to be received the way it was. All these things are just learning curves and lessons and things to take with you, as far as what maybe not to do that way again, but not to put you down and make you just feel like you don't deserve to be here, that you can't do anything right, that all the things that we tell ourselves over and over and over and over again, that aren't true. It's not a fact. And so I want to take a moment and really let this sink in, I guess, so that hopefully we can kind of reparent ourselves, let's say. Because at this point, we're all adults, likely. Everyone listening is an adult. And so we don't have anyone else to blame at this point, or, there's no one keeping us from doing whatever we want. And so we're responsible for ourselves. We are our mother, we are our father, we are our parent. You get to self-love yourself the way that you need to. And so always be extending yourself love. And literally you deserve love because you exist. There's no need to, be productive, be perfect, look a certain way, be devoted to someone else's success over your own. You don't have to be useful or helpful or anything like that to really, or be a hustler or, make things happen or whatever it is to have love. You deserve love. You are love to start with, and that's it. So as we age and become better parents to ourselves, extend yourself that sort of acceptance. That's self-love, literally self-love. And so who are you in spite of your mistakes? And I want to just take a minute and pause this episode if you want, or after you're done listening, take some time and brainstorm. But I just want to, like, just to give this like a realistic and practical, you know, point to it. I want you to think of 5 things that you love about yourself. Just obviously a starter, because you should have more than 5. And I'm sure you will if you spend more than 5 seconds thinking about it. But 5 things that you love about yourself, just for fun. First things that come to mind, just whatever they are. And it could be anything. It could be, you have a knack for connecting people. You tell great jokes. You have really amazing blue eyes. You are great at math. You love painting. Like, whatever. You play a mean fiddle. I wish. That's one of my hopes and dreams for the future. You're a really thoughtful friend, or you love reading. It can be anything. Just think of 5 things that you love about yourself. And whatever these 5 things are that you've picked out, look at the list, or like reflect and think, do any of those things change if you make a mistake somewhere in your life? No, I don't think so. And so it's like you have an essence about you that has nothing to do, that's like unchanging, it's timeless, it's always there, whether you make a mistake or not. Um, and so this is just part of the acceptance. The other thing is we're all human. You're gonna make, I don't know, we should probably be born with a sign. The first thing we actually understand is welcome to Earth. You are going to make a billion mistakes in this lifetime. The faster you make mistakes, the faster you'll succeed, right? And so if we looked at it like that, we would fail faster, right? Like we wouldn't have the same kind of shame, guilt, old patterns of knocking ourselves down when we do make a mistake. And we would just look at it like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do that better next time, for sure. No problem. Sorry, I can do it better next time. Mental note, onward. And so I really encourage you to look at it like that. And so that when you do have, something that you want to learn, something that you want to do in the future, there's no expectation for it to be like you're doing it for the first time and it's supposed to be a giant success. It's just, you're gonna have some detours, you're gonna have some mistakes. Don't let it mean anything about you in the long run. Other than the fact that you, of course, are someone who can take your mistakes, learn from them, and then, like, the next time, go further down the road. So, as an example, I have a family member who I haven't seen in decades, but probably hasn't, I don't know. I have no idea. I shouldn't say that at all. Anyways, for the section of my life where I did know him, he never changed a bit. He was one of those people, and I'm sure that you have somebody in your life like this too, or maybe you used to. Uh, he was scientific at keeping track of every mistake that everyone around him ever made. And like literally to the point of writing it down, recording it, documenting it. It was a little bit, very thorough. And so he'd keep, a record of every little wrongdoing over the years. And for people that had known him longer than I had, because I mean, I only knew him probably 20 years and I'm 46 or whatever. So, but some others were older and more his age. And anyways, they had a longer history. So, this guy in our family, he, at any chance he had, he would come up, he'd want to remind you of the mistake, the error, should have known better kind of thing. And then kind of berate you or make you feel shitty for the fact that you even did that wrong in the first place. Very, very, very unforgiving man. Uh, and always, yeah, always just looking to knock you down a bit. Like, if you're 5 minutes late for lunch, it's not disrespectful. That obviously must be how you are all the time. And so therefore, I mean, geez, how could you even consider yourself, a respectable person? Make too much noise in the house while, other people are chatting over somewhere else, how crazy, how wild, how, again, disrespectful. You've sent the birthday card. Maybe it didn't land on the same, it didn't arrive before his birthday or on his birthday. And so therefore, like, what the hell? How can you be so unorganized? Don't you care about me more? That kind of thing. And on and on. Like the judgments were never ending. And the thing is, you can't satisfy someone like that because there's no way that you can be perfect enough. And what in the hell is the point of trying? And so when I was, he was never my favorite person to visit. He was never somebody that I it wasn't a lot of enjoyment out of that at all. However, as I did, you know, grow up and consider what that taught me a little bit, it was a lot to do with my own. He was almost like a mirror for my own judgments on myself, my own shame or guilt about something. Like he could trigger that so easily because it was true that I thought something, it was along the same lines. And when someone is telling you something and it really gets you, you know that that's sort of like a sore spot for you. It's something where you need to kind of go look at and really consider, like, why is that something you think is true within you? And so he was a huge mirror for me in my life over time because I was very judgmental of myself. And therefore, when I was younger, I was extremely judgmental with other people too. I mean, not to the extreme that not to his extreme, but I was more judgmental than I am now, that's for sure, by a long shot. And so consider that. Like if someone in your life, maybe you have someone in your life now, maybe you have in the past, just consider what they're mirroring for you. What is the lesson there that you can take away to improve who you are being in this life and how you want to show up for others in your life. And the point is not that you made a mistake. The point is, what do you make it mean about you on a deeper level? And I guess my argument here in this podcast episode is that you should not make it mean anything more than whoops and learn from it. Like not to, for example, I don't know, you forget an appointment, you forget to go to a meeting, something like that. It's just like, it's not something where you need to then sit and talk to yourself in your head about how, why do I never pay any attention to the time? Why am I always late? Why can't I just remember the things I'm supposed to remember? And then you like talk yourself into this little hole in this little corner and you feel like shit. And it's like, okay, yeah, shoot, I forgot about that. I apologize, obviously, but like if it doesn't happen every day, then it's like, okay, shoot, I'm overworked right now. Take it almost like are you too busy? Like maybe we should be taking some stuff off your plate just so you can like keep your head on straight. Or if it would just slipped your mind, maybe you had something great happen and you totally forgot about the rest of your day. Maybe you had something terrible happen and you totally forgot about the rest of your day. Like it just allow yourself the grace to not be perfect and to not meet everybody's expectations of you all the time. And I know that could be extremely radical as far as, you know, depending on how comfortable you are with letting people down sometimes. But I guess the point of this episode is, your mistakes do not say anything about you as like, at the root of you, you are awesome. At the root, your essence, you are a generous, you are loving, you're here to experience and spread love and joy. And so that does not change. You have particular hobbies you like, you have things you enjoy, those are all the same. It's just a mistake. And so take what you need from it to be wiser the next time and, move on, get on to the next thing and just shake it off, kind of like Taylor Swift says, or whatever. I think that's what it is. Shake it off. Anyways, I'll let it go. And so at this new moon is perfect for this. And so again, I think I'm a broken record, but take some time, hopes and dreams for the future, and allow yourself also to just be bold with it. Like, don't talk yourself out of something before you even try it. And then commit to trying it and seeing it through. Uh, and so, yeah, so I think I want to just finish up with the fact that when we can get to a point where we have, we've made a mistake, we've said sorry, we've fixed, we're, keeping tabs on things in our mind for next time. So it's like, okay, yeah, that's not going to happen again. If it does, it'll be corrected, of course, again, but it's not that I'm never going to make mistakes again. And so therefore I'm trying to be perfect. Lower your standard as far as like how perfect you are. But I would say when you do make a mistake, obviously the response to the mistake is important. And that is more important than whatever the mistake was. How you respond basically like fixes the mistake all in one go. If you respond in a sincere, authentic, and like apologetic and just learning from it, wiser from it, thank you very much. And we'll just do better next time. And when you can get to that point, then internally you are no longer holding yourself hostage, guilt tripping the shit out of yourself, full of shame in different corners of your psyche. Like all of that is kind of a lot clearer because you are accepting of yourself. You do know that you're worthy of existing, you're worthy of being wherever you are. A mistake is not a judgment on your character, your skill set, your, reason for existing. It's not. So really dig into that and see where you're at with it and how much resistance you might have to what I'm saying. If you do find yourself, shaming yourself, guilt tripping, like endless, just like, you need to be nailed to the cross every time this happens or every time you think of it, like think of it. You can't kind of let it go and just let it roll off. You need to like, martyr a little bit longer before you somehow magically have reconciled it all. And so at this new moon, really, please, 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 you are worthy of existing. You are worthy of being here and sharing your gifts with the world. And mistakes are going to happen, and you are smart enough to roll with them, learn from them, be wiser, um, and not carry them with you, so that you can continue to be spontaneous, be joyful, be in your light more often than the struggle and the torture and just the dripping with guilt and shame. Like we are not meant to exist that way all the time. There's definitely points and phases, but it is not something that is our natural state of existence. And as you find it easier to accept yourself and to really thoroughly understand that you're amazing, you're going to make mistakes, and you're still amazing. And so just get on with it. You're going to find yourself self-forgiving. You're going to be real good at. It's going to be a practice, and you'll get better and better. It's like a muscle. You have to work it out. Self-forgiveness and self-compassion. You're not going to talk shit about yourself all day or all week or for decades because of something you did and, it didn't quite go how you wanted, and therefore you need to beat yourself up for the rest of your life. Like, no, let's agree that we're all done with that. And pack it up in a nice little package, put a bow on it, whatever, and just leave it here today. And look ahead, clear road. You're going to make mistakes, but understand that it is just something that's part of life. It's as sure as you need to eat lunch or, you need to sleep. It's just, that's the way it is. The miracle comes when you can forgive yourself, you can accept yourself, and when, to the degree that you can do that for yourself, you will find that you can extend it then to others. And that is literally where the miracle is. Because, well, I mean, either one is awesome. But when we can start, accepting people for who they are, mistakes and all, loving them, still, not judging them for eternity because of one thing they did or whatever amount of things they did. But just to extend the same forgiveness and compassion that you have for yourself to others, that changes the dynamic of every relationship you have in a hugely positive way. And I'm not saying not to have boundaries, because there are people that, like I said at the beginning, I think, some people, they do live their whole lives, torturously under, regretting or just really in the space of a mistake they made like decades ago, it even could be. And so it's not guaranteed that everyone is going to sort of learn to, have self-compassion, have forgiveness for themselves. And so if there are people in your lives that are just doing shitty things and being shitty, that are causing you damage, then obviously you need to have some boundaries around that. But for yourself, and for a lot of people that are, most people want to grow and learn from experiences, and the intention is to be, good people. You can really, really change the dynamic in relationships that you have with that by self-love, by self-compassion, by self-forgiveness. You extend that to others. They, are, it's almost like you're extending grace. Because as much as anyone, right? Like, if you notice that you've made a mistake, and you're kind of coming to somebody to say, okay, sorry about this, I made a mistake. And you're hoping that they'll kind of accept you openly and receive the apology the way you're intending it. And when they do, it's just a really nice dynamic, and you can move on, and you can, you know, grow from it, and your relationship can actually be better than it was before, because now there's a little more of an intimacy there. There's a vulnerability that wasn't there before. Um, and so the dynamic is different if you make a mistake and you come to the person, or the other way around. If someone's coming to you and you're sitting there like, dude, that was ridiculous. Like, why, I can't believe you would have done that. Why did you forget this or do that or whatever? And just give them piles of crap and not listen to maybe some of the reasons or the shortcomings or whatever they were struggling with. Who knows, whatever the reasons were. And just generously extending forgiveness and compassion to wherever they are. Uh, that's a whole different dynamic, and that's a whole different outcome. You know, if someone's talking crap to you, then you're not gonna be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, there'll probably be some distance, and maybe the distance is permanent, maybe it's not. But it's a whole different. It like damages the relationship instead of brings it even closer together. And so that is the point of this podcast, is to really encourage you to, who are you in spite of your mistakes, to understand deeply that you are not your mistakes. Everyone has mistakes. Some are way bigger than others, but everyone has all different sizes and shapes. You are not your mistakes. You are your response to your mistakes. I would hazard to guess. And so you want to be, you know, you want to be learning, you want to be evolving, you want to be growing and learning and, getting wiser with age, and not getting stuck in your life. And so that is the highest outcome, I guess, I wish for everybody. And it's not that none of it, everyone struggles with things from time to time. But if the intent is always to kind of take a mistake and like, what can I learn from this? How can I not, how can I do this better next time? Then you will maybe make less mistakes, but maybe just make mistakes a little faster, because you cut out the part where you like talk to yourself, berate yourself, guilt trip yourself, shame yourself to death. And you just cut that part out and you're like, okay, yeah, I made a mistake. Okay, how can I correct this? How can I fix it? And you jump right to kind of like, okay, how can I correct this? How can we go forward on good footing? And that is going to save you some time in the end. And you'll get just more naturally better at making mistakes, correcting them, moving on. And again, not even like, if you can get to that point, that's amazing and awesome. And that'll be like a massive improvement for your own life, because you won't have to listen to your own self-talk, like make you feel like garbage for weeks or days or decades or whatever. But then if you can extend that to someone else, it's like, wow, it's tenfold the impact that it'll have on other people's lives and how they're received by you. And then they will be able to extend that to others as as we all receive grace from others, we give it out in another, um, situation. Because we are like at heart, not everybody, but like far and by and large, people are good people, and they want to do the right thing. They want to extend love and feel joy, be in pleasure. Like, we don't really want to be sort of struggling with grief, sadness, depression. Like, we don't. And so, and it doesn't, yeah. And so the mistakes that we make, if we can just kind of let it go at some point and say, okay, I have tortured myself enough with this. I cannot do anything to change the past. At this point, I can only change the present or the future. And so, how would I do that differently if I had the same problem or the same mistake today that I had like 15 years ago? And, if obviously you probably would have done something different because nobody's stupid. We can figure out, okay, yeah, that would have been a better idea than the way I responded there or whatever. And just to like lose the judgment, like my relative example that I gave, lose the judgment for yourself, lose the judgment for others. And it's a lot easier. The judgment for others actually just falls away as your judgment for yourself falls away in some weird irony of the universe. And those kinds of things, I think, I really enjoy the universe's sense of humor, let's just say. Because sometimes when you realize it, it's like, oh my God, that's what the hell. Anyway, it's the universe definitely has a sense of humor. So that's that episode. I hope that was succinct enough. Who are you in spite of your mistakes? And who you are is timeless. Who you are is love at its core. And your mistakes are like the weather. They're just coming and going, just like your successes. We're not all success or we're not all mistakes. There's a variety of weather. It's weather. Just let it rain, let it pass you by, let it whatever. But it is not a judgment on you as a person, as the quality of your character, as, the level of worth you have for even existing or being in a room or being at whatever level at work, like anything. It has nothing to do with any of that. It is only, it's inevitable. So make mistakes. It's inevitable. Grow from them. That's a choice. You obviously not everyone grows from them. That's a choice, and let's commit today to taking that on, to choosing to learn the lesson, to choosing to think, how can I do this differently next time in a more loving, compassionate way, and see how that unfolds in your life and the potential miracles in any kind of relationship where you're any dynamic with anybody, how that changes the way you receive people, and then the other way is the way you are received by people. Uh, yeah, and go out and have some fun and make some mistakes and just laugh about them later. But like honestly, learn from them and just get on with your hopes and dreams. And definitely don't like be bold. Don't talk yourself out of something that's on your heart before you even give it a shot. All right, let your dreams see the light of day. All right, I will leave it there. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. It really does help the podcast grow, and that's kind of where we're at. We're growing. And I will see you next time on the next episode. Take care. Have a beautiful day.